Hello and welcome. This is It's Always About Love, and I'm Lee Evans. I'm here with psychotherapist Lynn Lara. Lynn has been in private practice for many years, and today she's bringing all of that experience and wisdom to help you. It's our desire to help you and make what you learn from this podcast usable in your life right now. Do you have something that's concerning you, a question, a comment, or just something you want to share? Send us an email to its always about love, 1 at gmail.com. Now let's get started. You must be there, Lynn, because I hear the dog coughing.
This is cute. Yes, I'm here with these wonderful creatures who are here to teach us how to be nice human beings. I believe that that's true. Somebody else said that to me a long time ago. She said, yes, this dog has made me a nicer person. I think she was lying because I know her really well. She was not a nicer person. Oh.
You want to tell us about your dog that's coughing so much? The history behind her? Or him?
Let's see. His name is... I just call him Little Boy. Oh, I think he's named Webster or Winston, one or the other. And we got him from the pound because he's blind and going blind, and no one wanted him, but they still charged us. But that was okay because we like to help that pound. Actually, I'm going to be leaving. If I have money when I die, it's all going to go to the pound. The pound that they're so kind, and that's where I got my little girl. That's Japanese chin.
Is that the other sound I hear?
Well, you don't hear her. They were disagreeing over who got her bed. That was funny. But they weren't arguing or anything. He just had taken it. I'm going to have to bring a second bed in here, but I didn't realize he wanted to have his own bed. So, hi. Listen, this is a good opportunity to have you talk about the inner child and what she's meant to you, how it's changed you, if it has, learning how to do it. Where did it come from? The inner child, the theory. I'm being your instructor who's asking you questions today.
I know.
Uh-huh.
I know. And
you didn't know this was going to happen.
No, I didn't.
But I'm going to help you.
You're going to have
I'm going to help you. Yeah.
You're going to have to help. Okay. Give me a clue.
Eric Byrne. No,
Eric?
Is that true? No, that's not true. It was, how would you know the answer? Because I've never said it before. Lee, what's his name? He's an older fellow who was having affairs with younger women. Fritz Perls. Frederick Perls. Brilliant man who came from Germany. And during World War II and all of his records, he said he was a doctor, an MD doctor. See, you don't know any of this, but I told you I'd help you. And anyway, but the man was brilliant. He wrote In and Out of the Garbage Pail, which doesn't sound brilliant, but it was. He's the founder of Gestalt, which is a German word meaning whole, W-H-O-L-E, whole, the whole person. And I think that I'm going to attribute the inner child to him. Gosh. And I had some to do with it. But not on the level, no, I wasn't famous back then. I was in training, but I always come up with ideas. So, okay, what is the inner child, Lee?
The inner child, wow. I just looked that up. That's very interesting.
Oh, who does it say? Who does it say did it? It's not going to say me. I wasn't any place famous back then.
Well, I looked up and it says Frederick Pearl.
Oh, well, that's who I would, that he started the inner child.
Well, it's given reference to him as one of the initial
Okay.
creators of it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and he's the most famous.
Well, here's my insight. Here's my insight. It says, it is through healing our inner child that we grieve the wounds, we release the grief and pent-up rage, shame, and other things from our past that we've locked up inside of us, that we are not even aware of, that we can't touch because we are not aware of it.
Okay, now, in your own words, first of all, what is your inner child? Don't just tell me what she is.
She's a little girl.
Mm-hmm. How old?
I'm thinking like around 5.
Okay. Do you see her? When I say, Lee, bring your inner child, your little girl out, do you see her?
Yes, but now she's dressed differently.
Okay, well, wait. Don't tell me that. How do you see her? What does that mean? When you say, I see her.
I see her on like a sidewalk, but it's a high sidewalk.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, can you see her clearly?
No, I wouldn't say it's real clear, but there's definitely something I see.
Oh, that's great, Lee. You've got a gift. Mine, when I see my inner child, I don't see her like that. She's more in my mind's eye, if that makes sense to you all. But Lee has the gift. Lee, you're something. I've had very, very few people who are able to report seeing their inner child the way you are. And I don't doubt you for a minute, because you wouldn't say it if you didn't. How wonderful. Okay, now tell us what she's doing.
She's sitting on a sidewalk, but it's higher than a sidewalk or a curb edge. So her feet are dangling off the side, they're not touching. And she's kicking her feet back and forth.
Oh. Okay. And as she's doing that, watch her. How do you feel toward her?
I feel, let's see, what would be the word isn't secure, but comfortable. It's secure, nice. Comfort, something like that.
Okay, and what's that doing for you? What's that going to do for you? First of all, seeing her, what's that going to do for you?
It's going to help me come and be more in touch with the different part of me as we learn the child, the adult, and the parent. It's going to integrate me into a functioning person.
Okay. Now, what Lee's just talked about is in transactional analysis, which really that did not come from Fritz Perls. That came from a man named Eric Byrne. He was also an MD, a medical doctor. He was from Canada. Fritz Perls also said that he was a medical doctor. Have any of you heard of Esalen Institute? It was down in Big Sur, which is California, south of Monterey and Carmel. One of the most beautiful places in the world. And I was fortunate enough, they offered me a scholarship. They knew I couldn't possibly afford the exorbitant amount that you had to pay to be there. And they wanted to help me become a therapist. And so they brought me down there and I led groups and they helped me and I got to be there for free, which was wonderful. And I got to meet all kinds of very famous therapists. I was in training. Okay. So with what Lee's just talked about is the parent ego state, the adult ego state, and the child ego state. That's from a different therapist whose name was Eric Byrne. Again, Eric Byrne was a psychiatrist, an MD psychiatrist, as Fritz Perls said he was also. And An MD. And the reason that I'm sounding a little hesitant about Fritz Perls is because all of his records were destroyed during World War II in Germany. That's understandable. But the real truth is that the man was brilliant. And therapist after therapist really respected him. So and he wrote several best-selling books. And you probably got them because you're looking them up, huh?
Yes.
In and Out of the Garbage Pail. What else did he write? I forget.
That's all I'm seeing right now.
Really? No, he wrote more than that. That's okay. And Eric Byrne was a psychiatrist in Carmel, California. My very first office had been Eric's office. And they left his brown couch that people laid on because he was a psychiatrist of the kind that when you came into his office, you would lay on their couch. And I got that famous couch. They did come and get it later on. I'm sure it's in a museum now somewhere. And Eric's partner was a man named Robert Goulding, who was also an MD, a medical doctor, a psychiatrist, and his wife was named Mary Goulding, Mary McClendon Goulding. Mary was a social worker, brilliant woman, and Robert was responsible. I'm going into all this stuff. We were going to do the inner child. Thank you. I'm listening to somebody out there that's saying, do you have to talk about this? I just do. I'm fascinated by the history. Okay. So, Lee, what do you use when you see your inner child? And by the way, if the rest of you don't see your inner child the way Lee does, it's just like a memory of a child that's somewhere in the age of 3 to 6 or 7 years old. Mine happens to be 9. And I see her, but it's in what I think of as my mind's eye. If you see her clearly or him clearly, your inner child, because men have them too. Everybody does. I used this when I was doing an internship at Soledad Prison, which is a major prison in California, Soledad, California. And I had these big bruisers. President of the Hells Angels, the Black Panthers. I had these big bruisers sitting in my group, talking to their inner child. Lee's going to show you how that's done in a minute. They were just precious. They hurt. Why didn't my dad take me fishing? I remember that so well. Why did my wife leave me? It just went on and on. Precious, precious. Those men hurt bad, just the same as everybody else hurts. Okay, Lee, I think I've quit doing my teaching right now. I have my teaching hat on. So, how are you feeling toward your inner child right now? Not what are you thinking. When you tell us what you're thinking, I'm saying this for everyone, that's when you tell us what she's wearing, how old she is. Those are thoughts. You're giving us information. But I want to know about your feelings now. How do you feel toward her?
Protective.
All right. That's very nice. How come? How come you feel like you need to be protective of her right now? I'm sorry, my dog is coughing.
Precious. She's precious, but I feel protective. I feel safe or comfortable. Maybe the word's content. I think maybe content.
And when you first started this, how did you feel toward her?
Distant.
Uh-huh. Why?
I could see, but I felt foreign. Is that a feeling word?
Those are thoughts. That's okay, because I'm asking you. And why did you feel that way? What was going on in your life or in her life that caused you to feel that way?
I think because of the disconnect. There wasn't a connection in my
Between
thinking.
You and your inner child.
Correct.
Yeah. And now you're feeling close to her.
Correct.
Do you hear this? I'm talking to everybody who's out there. This is exciting, and it's exactly what's supposed to happen when you're working with your inner child. Remember, I promised, was it Sarah? I think so. I don't want.
Sarah.
Was it Sarah? Mm-hmm. I promised Sarah that your life will be different. Listen to what Lee's saying. She started out feeling distant with her inner child. At my urging. But Lee's willingness, she's been getting to know and her inner child and getting closer to her. And that's what I want all of you to do. I used to see, I'd be driving my car. Some of you are in Europe and other countries, so you're sitting on the other side, but I'd be looking down at the floor of my car, and I'd be talking to my inner child that was there. It was a beautiful experience, and I got very close to her, just exactly like Lee's talking right now about her feeling toward her inner child. Lee, what is feeling closer to your inner child going to do for you?
It's going to help me be resilient in life.
You're reading out of something. Come on.
No, I'm not. That's actually...
What does that mean?
Resilient means that the waves of the turmoil and troubles in life that take you high and low, they're hard to get through. They're hard to overcome. But with the help of the knowledge and the ability to see life and to see your inner child or work with your inner child, it helps you become more resilient over the things because it helps you feel more secure in life, more comfortable, and more content.
Go ahead.
More content, more joyful.
Okay, so what Lee's saying is that she feels her inner child finally has someone to take care of her. And it should not be a therapist that you've gone to see who does that, because that therapist cannot see your inner child. You're the only one who can see her. Lee, what does your inner child call you?
Not Mimi. I think that's what it was. When we were doing it one time before, we actually asked, and
Mimi. Okay, do you hear that? What's happened is Lee has become her own parent, and what that's going to do is allow her to take care of herself. Do you know how we look to others to like us so we can like ourselves?
Right.
You know how that goes on? We need other people to like us. You'll never need that. I mean, it's nice to have when it happens, but you won't need it. You'll have it inside yourself. It's a wonderful, wonderful gift. And Lee's using words that are not of a 5-year-old child. A 5-year-old child wouldn't say resilient. That's why, because that's a big word. A 5-year-old child would have a hard time saying that. What's the word that she would use? Would you ask her? I ask Lee to speak out loud when she talks to her inner child.
What word? Let's see. I want to ask you a question. What word would you use to describe how you feel when you think of you and me?
What? Did you just answer? She just answer? Happy. I'm sorry, you cut out. That's what all we heard was me. Okay. Happy. Isn't that nice? Of course, that's a 5-year-old word. What a 5-year-old would say, I'm happy. So if you're getting into words that are too big, actually you're in either your parent or your adult ego state. So, and it's okay that you are, but you want to hear from your child. Child, unless they're geniuses, we've got a television program with a kid he's not the genius, but he plays the role of the genius. Yeah, unless you're a child who's a genius, but I'll bet that most of you just have normal little 5-year-old children out there, and they're precious, and they need to know that you love them. And Lee's voice, when she talks to her inner child, if you listen to her, I don't know if she's aware of it or not, but her voice changes. Are you aware of it, Lee?
You made me aware of it a time before when we were doing this.
Okay, so say something to her. Tell her why you like her.
I want to tell you something. I really like you. I love your piggy tails, and you're so cute in your little dimples, and I love how you're just energetic and joyful. You are so sweet.
Would you ask her what that's like to hear that from you?
How do you feel when I tell you that? She's squiggling up her face. Squiggling up her face like, ooh, like that. Ooh, like that. Did you hear that?
Sweet. Yeah. See, Lee, when you were little, did you used to do this as a 5-year-old child?
Do what?
Scriggle up your face, and did someone tell you how special you were?
I don't think so.
Okay. This is the part that I came in with. Reparenting. What Lee is doing right now, I think this is, if it ever becomes famous, I don't know of anybody else who's teaching it, but it's about reparenting. Lee didn't get it when she was small. Therefore, what Lee has done is pick a man to be married to, in a relationship with, who wasn't really available or nurturing to her. That's what's going on for Sarah. Sarah, buttons to bows, you didn't have this kind of nurturing when you were little. I'll tell you, I certainly didn't. When I began to see my inner child, in the beginning, she was alone, sitting on a bench at school, and it was a foggy day. It was dark, not dark, but no sun, and she was all alone. And my heart went out to her. I went, my God, that little child. How sad. I used to live and had my office across the street from a park, Woodland Park in Seattle, Washington. And one day I was over there with my dog, and I saw a fellow with his daughter, and he was reading the newspaper, and she went, Daddy, 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 look what I can do. And he said, good. And she kept on saying, Daddy, look. And he ignored her. He'd just go, that's nice. And I went up to him. I couldn't help myself. And I've done it way too many times. I know I have. And I said, sir, be nice. Please, it's gonna pay off in the end. Tell her how good she is and how proud you are of her. Please. He did it. The little girl just shone. Lee, how long do we have left?
Let me double check because I was so listening to you.
I'm sorry, honey.
5
Lovely. 5 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. With my daughter had a hard time. And I watched my little grandchild who was getting pushed away, and I tried to say tenderly and kindly to my daughter, honey, you need to give him attention. You're going to have to do that, or it's going to hurt him for the rest of his life. She said, Mother, mind your own business. Okay. So from then on, I used to go into his bedroom with him when he was hurt, And I'd say, do you know how special you are? My precious grandson, there is nobody more precious than you are. You're my favorite. And I would go on. And he'd go, Grandma. And I'd say, I mean it. I really mean it. You're my favorite. I think I said all the words that he needed to hear. But I was not doing it to take him away from his mother or his father. I was doing it because I love him and I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to hurt him that way. I'll tell you, when I see little kids in the mall being treated not the way they deserve to be treated, I'll do it on the side. I did it today. I told a little girl how adorable she was. Now, I can remember times when people in my background would say really nice things to me. I can remember it, but I'll tell you that I did not have a mother who thought I was special. So I reparented myself, and that's what Lee is doing. Sarah, if you do that, your little girl is looking to a man right now. Got this, Lee? This is neat stuff.
Okay.
Your little girl is looking to your husband, Sarah's married, I think, and to give her that nurturing. He can't, Sarah. He didn't get it himself, honey. He didn't get it himself when he was little. You chose a man who was distant. What you're needing to do, Sarah, is to nurture your inner child like Lee is. And then she won't be hanging on him to take care of her. She'll have you. You're better anyway. Trust me, you're better. He's not going to be any good at it right away. And later on, you can begin to help him. That's a great thing. I love this. You'll be able to help him and tell him how special he is. You don't want to end your marriage, honey. Please don't do that. We're here to help you save that marriage. Anything else I want to say right now, Lee, that you can think of?
I think expound on what you're saying. That's awesome.
What?
Okay.
You used a big word again, Lee.
I'm jumping from my ego state. A little girl is looking. The little girl inside of me and Sarah is looking to the husband or the boyfriend or whatever to give them the nurturing they never had as little children.
Right. It ain't going to happen. They can't. It's not because they're bad. Sarah, he's hurting just the same as you are. He just hides it. It's not because he's a bad person. There are some good things about him, Sarah. That's why I was kind of bothered when you jumped to getting a divorce. I hope I'm not confusing, Sarah. It's been so many days. But so you can't look to him. When you see someone that's calling their husband daddy, I'm not really laughing at them, but you're looking at a woman who's a little girl and looks to her husband and calls him daddy, or he calls her mommy. Oh gosh, I can remember so many couples like that from my childhood on up. Well, but it's not going to work. They're adults. They never get to be adults. Sarah, I want you to try this instead of thinking about getting a divorce with your husband. And it'll work. Sarah, your whole life's going to change. I bet it's time for me to quit, isn't it, Lee?
Let me see. This is so interesting what you're saying.
We can do it some more tomorrow. What's tomorrow, Thursday?
Thursday, yes.
Yeah, we can do it some more tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't we?
Because I think what might be a good idea for the listeners, because we're talking about Sarah, and some of them might have come in later, might be able to be a good idea to maybe read Sarah's email. Sarah's email to us. And
or maybe somebody else will write a letter, too, And we can work with that too. It's okay. We don't have to do this with Sarah. Listen, the reason I don't want you, I went to see this world famous psychiatrist once. He was at the University of Washington. I just wanted to see what a world famous psychiatrist was like. God, he'd had textbook after, the guy was really something. But he said, listen to this. He said, Lynn, I wish I had a magic wand. I would run it over your head or whatever, wave it over your head, and all of your problems would be gone. And then he went to make another appointment with me, and I said, no, sir, but thank you. I really enjoyed being here. That man was not anyone at all that I wanted to be my therapist. I wasn't really looking for a therapist anyway. I just wanted to see what he'd be like. That was not... He wanted to become my parent. I don't want when my clients come in to see me, it's not healthy for them to let me become their parent. That's called transference. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. Remind me, Lee, will you?
I will. I'm
Remind me that.
now. Transference. Okay. Got it.
You know what, Lee? Thank you so much. I am so delighted to hear you talk about the love that you have for yourself, your little girl who needed it so badly. Sarah, you'll be there too. You'll be there, Sarah. You will. I know you will. This is not hard stuff to learn, and it's amazing. It changed my whole life. And that's what I promised you, didn't I? I'm done. Lee, stop me.
Okay.
Put on the music. I'll just keep going. Because I love this stuff. I'm just kidding.
Well, we will be back tomorrow, Thursday, and we're going to continue talking more about the inner child. We'll be back.
Okay, let me give out some homework. Each one of you who are listening, I want you to take your inner child out and talk to her or him tonight. Or what? Yeah, do it. It's good for you. Give them the love they never got.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's true. It's called re-nurturing therapy, reparenting.
I'm writing a note.
Yeah, you can look it up. It's not going to say Lynn Lara, but I'm the one who did it. It doesn't matter. Oh, listen to that. That's my little girl wanting you to know that she's important. And really, I'm just grateful. You know, I've had a career that I would have done for free and have. Many times I've seen people for free. I have been blessed. Come on, stop me, Lee. Come on.
We will be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific time. So until then, remember, it's always
about love.
And we love you.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Good night, everyone.
And we love each other, too.
Yes. Good night.